How to succeed as the virtual presenter. Today with me I have a special guest, Sönke Rickardsson from the company Triple Sun, where he is the owner and managing director. Hello, Sönke.
Hello, Colin.
Great. Where are you right now, Sönke, on your journey?
I've started the journey already, Colin. Thank you. Remember the first time when we met, I explained that my most urgent issues are that I'm struggling with the equipment and I do not see the others, so I do not know if my message is understood and if I do understand correctly the feedbacks of the others.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, I've read your book, Virtual Presenter, and um, there was a Kickstart review with several questions that I filled out, answers, and sent them to you.
Right.
So now I'm very interested about what you think about my answers.
Of course. Let's have a look before we go into the detail. Let's have a look at what this Kickstart
Hmm?
review really covers. That might be interesting for many of our people who are listening here right now. Because our quick start review covers actually the four areas that are important for you to succeed as the virtual presenter. And I'll put them here on the screen for you here in the center. The first one is that, of course, you're going to look at your presentation to see how can you match the presentation in a way that it's suitable for the virtual environment. Because that presentation typically is different to how you would do a presentation in the room. The second thing that you would want to consider, and that's also in the Quick Start formula, is to understand, well, how do you then act as a presenter? Because maybe you found yourself in the situation in the room that already being in the room, you get a lot of the attention just for being there. But now you realize yourself, Sönke, many times if you do a virtual presentation, you're actually not there in the room and you feel a disconnect. And the third thing
Yep.
that is part of the four sides of the virtual presenter is the fact that, when you're on the stage, Sönke, you have the situation that you're elevated, you've got a clean backdrop, you've got maybe lights on you, you've got a microphone, everything is being done to elevate your speech. But how do you do that in the virtual environment? And that is an important area where the equipment plays a big role. And last but not least, in the virtual environment, we're also looking at here at the last point, the platform. Because remember when you're in the room and your presentation is finished and you have an area to mingle and drink coffee. That is literally what this platform is about, where you want to replicate what you do in the real life into the virtual room as well, so that you can have an opportunity to prolong that conversation that you have. So these were the four areas which you pinpointed concerning the Kickstart formula, and where you've decided for yourself specific areas where you wanted to get started. Do you remember those, Sönke? Where did you want to get
Yes.
started?
Well, I have two opportunities. One is that I will start with the areas that I think I have the most improvement potential. But that is maybe not the smartest way because you have to maybe to improve some areas to get on with the next step. So, Colin, what do you think is the next thing I should work with?
Well, when I look at many of the virtual presentations, I always see that many people are actually where you started, where you were speaking last week, is you're struggling with the technology. And when you're struggling with that technology, you are filled up with thoughts and ideas and actions, and you don't really reach out to your audience. So that would be my recommendation, to start there, to get a basic level of the technology that you need, and so that you can really make that
Hmm?
connection. Would that make sense?
Yes,
Terrific.
absolutely.
Because then I would say that's exactly going to be our next session.
Good. Looking forward.
Thank you very much. How can you
Thank you.
succeed in being the virtual presenter? We're going to start with our next session to dive into the technology.